So, moving on to your topic, Cece, have you thought of anything yet?
Kind of in regards to Breath of the Wild specifically. One
Alright.
of the questions from your mailbag, I think I answered it in the last mailbag, about whether I think or you think this game is gonna revolutionize the series the way Ocarina of Time did. And that actually came to my mind right now when we're talking about the reveal of the NX and everything, because I've actually had some discussions with my stepdad saying that Nintendo is not doing too well. I mean, according to him, again, like I said, I don't really keep up with Nintendo, so what I do know is whatever I listen to from you guys and your videos and stuff, and whatever my stepdad says. But he did tell me that Nintendo hasn't been doing well and the NX needs to be, like, phenomenal. And that obviously I'm been able to keep up enough to know the Wii U hasn't been doing well. So on top of the idea of Zelda, this new Zelda game revolutionizing the series, I also feel like, do you feel like they're relying on this game to kind of save the company, or? Because I know you guys have also done videos on other games, like Andy, you've done stuff on Metroid, but I haven't played that, so I'm just wondering, do you think this Zelda has to save Nintendo, or how do you think Nintendo's doing?
That's a really, I was having a conversation with this the other day, actually.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Like, that's probably one of the more important questions that I've heard from the mailbag, because it puts so much weight on Zelda. But Andy, if you want to go ahead and give your thoughts on this.
In terms of Nintendo's financial situation, and people are making parallels with them with Sega all the time. I don't think Nintendo is going to go down the Sega path at all in terms of being purely a software publisher. The reason why I'm saying that is because Nintendo still has a stranglehold over the handheld and mobile market. They've been having it for really a long time. One starting is the Game Boy. There was a really good article written by this one financial website, and they were saying how Nintendo revolutionized the mobile gaming market and actually paved the way to mobile gaming as we know it today through the Game Boy. The NX may or may not bridge both handheld and console play, and which way you can play in the console, you could also play on the handheld. I'm not sure if that's necessarily the case. But Nintendo has always been the trailblazer, it's always been the innovator. So I think a more likelier scenario is that Nintendo is going to take a path that nobody really expects them to. And so I don't think they're going to go down the roof. Like, for example, one Nintendo stock costs around $1,200, or it's probably more than that. And in terms of finances, Nintendo has always been very, very good. Well, they're kind of greedy too, but that's besides the point. So in terms of their financial situation, I think they're really secure, in all honesty, and this hyper speculation about the NX only really feeds into that. Is talking about currency for a bit for all you economics out there, economists. A lot of over speculation on a particular currency may or may not be beneficial to how the particular currency and value could be appropriated at in terms of wealth. The NX may very well be Nintendo's saving grace from the Wii U, or maybe not. I'm not necessarily a genie on this matters, but that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think the way Nintendo showed off this game at E3 says everything, which they had other small games that they played like during the off time and stuff, but their main focus was on Breath of the Wild, and they had a short little demonstration of the new Pokemon Sun and Moon, which Pokemon always sells well. It always sells mobile units. So I think they wanted to show it off to let people know what exactly it was going to be and give them an idea of what to expect, but they didn't want to put too much focus on the Pokemon game because they know it's already going to sell well. With Breath of the Wild, it's everyone knew it was going to be coming out on the Wii U, and the Wii U is a dying console. It's not doing that well. If it relied on the sales from the Wii U itself, it may not make the kind of money that they would expect it to make with the years of work and all of the effort they've put into the game and launching it on the NX, which is an unknown console. Again, you don't know if the NX is going to sell well at launch, and with Breath of the Wild being a launch title for that system, it's kind of a 50-50 shot whether it's going to do good or bad depending on the NX sales. So I think Nintendo made it a clear point to show off exactly what Breath of the Wild is at E3, which is why they spent so much time on it. They had the entire place Breath of the Wild themed, and I think it paid off for them because a lot of people, even though it was one of Nintendo's only games that they had at E3, it didn't just win their best of E3 for Nintendo, it won the best of E3 overall for a lot of different companies like Kotaku and IGN. So, in terms of it being like a financial saver for Nintendo, I think they're looking at it that way, and not just with the game itself, but they've made the statement that they're going to be reusing the Breath of the Wild engine and other franchises as well to sort of try to make back some of the extra cost that went into creating this brand new engine from them, which is something they've done before. They've reused the Super Mario 64 engine with Ocarina of Time, then again with Majora's Mask. I think the Wind Waker engine was also used in Super Mario Sunshine. It was customized for Twilight Princess. And there was even Star Fox Adventures, I think, used the Wind Waker engine. So reusing the same engine isn't something that is new for Nintendo or other developers, but the engine itself is more advanced than anything I've seen from Nintendo before in terms of allowing them to what looks like lets them easily have this huge open world. You can climb almost anything. The AI from the enemies is a lot smarter than... Hold on. The AI itself is a lot smarter than it has been in other games. You can see that in the different ways that they'll attack you, they'll get scared and run away, or there's just various situations that you can take on the different enemies in this game. And with it revolutionizing the series, and this is stepping away from the financial and the engine, just with the series itself, it seems like there's never been an open world Zelda game, so that in itself I think is kind of revolutionizing the series. And you look at different things like the jumping mechanic, which a lot of people look at as new for Zelda, but that was introduced in the second Zelda game. And there's just all of these different things that it just picks from prior Zelda games, and it turns Breath of the Wild into what I look as basically the best of collection from all of the past games put in to this one new game. And because of that, and it being like something that always comes to mind is that this is new for the Zelda series, but it's not new for video games, because there's been games like Skyrim, The Witcher, and other open world games that have been doing the same thing for the past 10 years or longer. But with the Zelda series, it's new, and from what we've seen, I think it could be the next game changer, in the sense that Ocarina of Time kind of changed the way people looked at video games. I think Breath of the Wild has the potential to do that. So, yeah. Sorry if that was a bit confusing for you guys.
Maybe not, in my opinion, maybe not change the image of gaming the way like Ocarina of Time did, but maybe change the image of Zelda for sure. This also just made me think, because I know what Zelda Master posted a discussion video earlier today as well. And I was watching that earlier, and he said something about, this is just in regards to what you said about the amount of things we can do in this Breath of the Wild game. that Zelda Master said this game is basically everything we imagined in previous Zelda games. How did he put it? But now it's a reality, something like that. I don't know how he worded it, but I agreed 100%. And that's what you just said right now reminded me of that. But taking the weight off. One of the what you were gonna say?
I was going to say, like, one of the things that I think is really cool about this, and one of the trailers that Nintendo put out over Twitter, I believe, is a short little thing with the woodcutter. And it's like, if you can't jump to reach the next location, there's a cliff there, or there's a steep drop-off, you can't jump there, you can't use your sail to get there, or whatever, then you can just use the environment itself. You can chop down a tree, and suddenly you have a bridge to go across. Or if you don't have a way to get from one side of a river to the other, you can craft your own sailboat.
Yeah.
I think things like that is stuff that we haven't seen in other franchises, and it's that that special something, that missing ingredient that Nintendo is able to put in to this game that other companies have kind of left out.
Okay, I see that.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yes.
I was just gonna say, fun fact, nothing to do with the conversation we're having. But I managed to animate this one thing in Source Filmmaker. It looks pretty good, and I managed to do it within our conversation. So I thought that
nice.
was kind of noteworthy.
Good job.
I'm glad someone was a bit productive during this. Yeah, so I guess that kind of brings us to the very end of all of our topics, unless any of you have any final thoughts to add.
Actually, I did have a thought that I wanted to mention. Bringing the weight back onto the NX and off Zelda specifically. And as I mentioned earlier in my conversation with my stepdad, he also mentioned, what do you think the NX will be able to do? Because when you think of the Xbox One and the PS4, I have them both. And when I think of them, I think of Twitch streaming, I think of Blu-rays, DVDs, I think of, all these different things I can do on there that don't come to mind when I think Nintendo. Do you think they're going to go in that direction at all with, like, any of that? I know the Wii had Netflix, but I hated Netflix on the Wii.
Yeah, the thing that comes to mind specifically with that is Nintendo kind of went in that direction with the Wii U, but whenever the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One came out, it went above and beyond what Nintendo was trying to do, because Nintendo has it to where you can take the different snapshots and stuff and you can upload them to Miiverse, and they had their own video call system introduced in the Wii U. So they tried the social thing, but their heads weren't in whether it's Twitch streams or YouTube streams or uploading 15-minute gameplay clips to YouTube or whatever. And as much as I would love to see them do that, I don't really think that's something that, if this is a hybrid that is more on the handheld side, then not only is it going to need the graphical power and the powerful CPU to play these games that at least look as good as the Wii U, possibly even better, while it's also using some of that power to record some of the gameplay or stream some of the gameplay. Because when you do that, even on a PC, it uses, like, say you're getting 60 frames in Call of Duty, suddenly you're getting 55 or 56, even though it's a minor difference when it's a game built for a dedicated system like Breath of the Wild on the Wii U or the NX, and it's targeting 30 frames a second. Maybe since it's streaming, it's only hitting 20 to 25, which a lot of people don't really think is a good experience while playing. So I don't think Nintendo's going to do that, and especially with their stance on gameplay being shared on YouTube, they've come down really hard and been really strict on that. So I don't think that they would include an app that would allow you to do it from the system itself, as much as I would love for them to. Do you have any thoughts on this, Andy?
I guess like just trying to wrap up most of the conversations we had about the whole like Breath of the Wild NX and all that. Um, what I really enjoy about like this whole scenario, like we're all talking about and we're all giving our own particular opinions of what may or may not happen to the future. Uh, Nintendo and more specifically the whole gaming industry in general is moving towards mobile gaming, and that's can be construed as whether or not that could be a good thing or not. And the reason why it's heading down that route is because of, well, finances, economics. It's becoming more profitable. For example, China is becoming a extremely a huge consumer when it comes to the whole mobile gaming market. Japan is also a huge market for that as well, and of course here in the States and the West in general. I believe the Norwegian Prime Minister was caught playing Pokemon Go.
I remember seeing that in an article.
Yeah, this could be a good or bad thing, well, depending on your point of view. That gaming is going through this casual approach, and the whole notion of couch gaming is not really, I don't want to say it's dead, but it's not economically the first choice when it comes to like the new trends in gaming that we're seeing now. And I really feel like the NX will epitomize this new trend. Hey, I'm Macintyre Productions, or Andy, or whatever you like to call me, I suppose. I typically do Zelda theories and countdowns and discussions news over at the Macintyre Productions channel. And I'm actually working on a second channel dealing with purely with animations. I'm actually working on one right now. And if that strikes you fancy, then head over there. And yeah.
Alright, hi guys, I'm Cecilia, or Cece for short. Over on my channel I just do kind of Zelda related videos, but I try to expand to like other things of my interest, so if you're interested, check that out.
What's up everyone, this is Jesse, and welcome to the Inslate. I would like to thank you for watching this video. If you're a fan of my Zelda or gaming news theory or discussion videos like this, please consider supporting this channel by donating through patreon.com/gameoverjesse, where you can get new videos early, be able to join on discussion or theory videos, get shoutouts, and tons of other great rewards. Thank you all so much for allowing me to do this, watching my videos, and especially you Alex Myers, Jonathan, The Itch Network, and John Frank for your support on Patreon.